And so is it guys running off and running off the ball, getting into space, and you all finding that? Is that the kind of the inner?
I think the movement helps. I think having the confidence to play the balls to each other in tight areas. Sometimes when a pass is on, I feel like sometimes last year we would opt to go long and to kind of be a bit lucky with the second ball, and sometimes we would win it, sometimes not. I feel like this year we really trust in each other with the ball, and we do find players in the tight areas on the field, and it's been going well. Even when we lost the balls a couple of times, I felt like the teammates around the ball were really good to press and to win the ball back. So as I said, we were really good on both sides of the ball last 2 games.
Christian and Jordan seem to be switching. How is that helpful, and what's the effect that's having on defenders?
Well, we did speak about changing. As far as positions on the field is fine, as long as the structure stays the same. So there is no issue with Nico, JP, me, or like you said, Jordan with Christian. The change can be there in terms of personnel, as long as there is someone in the right spot. I think that's the most important thing, and I think that's what we did. And there's been some good interactions and change of positions as well.
This week you have the first road trip going to Cincinnati, a team that some pundits are saying could challenge the top of the East. What's your thought taking on the first road trip of the year to face a good team?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important how we manage our last 2 home games. It's really important to win your home games, and it gives us certainly confidence and to go on road and to try to replicate the performance. I think we want to be going into Cincy game with the same mentality and same mindset, being on the front foot and pressing them. We don't, want to drop off just because we're going on the road. I think the style that we try to do in the games and the style that we practice all preseason, I think, that has to stick with us whether we're home or away. It will be a little bit tougher on the road for sure to do it, but, I don't see why we can't.
Yeah, that style of play, facing a team that has a trio of really talented attackers there. You want to continue playing your style, but do you have to also prepare for if you aren't able to get off on the right foot as well, get off on the front foot?
Yeah, well, I feel like, the more we have the ball, then the less that trio that you mentioned will have the ball, which is also a way to defend, So if we don't let them have 100 touches each on the ball, then they'll probably be able to create a little less than when teams give them the ball and let them get in the game, which is what we want to do as well. When the team keeps the ball against us and we don't get the ball, people get frustrated, and then you're trying to force things and force final passes and all that. So we know how it feels, and this is what we're trying to do in a game. We are aware of their front players and the other strengths that they have in the team. They're a pretty big team on set pieces as well. So we know what to expect, but as I say, we have to concentrate on our performance.
You just spoke about the quality in the midfield and kind of how things are moving so well there and the fun you guys are having. Is it even a little bit, surprising to you how well things have looked there passing-wise in the first 2 games, or is it kind of just this is the expectation, let's keep it going?
No, I mean, I think this is the expectation. We have quality, experienced players that have played at a high level for long enough. I think this is what we want to do. Pretty much every game. We know it's not going to be pretty every game, but this is, I think, the level that we set, and I think it's the level that was expected of us. I think that's why last year when we didn't make playoffs, that's why all the pundits and everybody was saying what a failure, is because that expectation, given the players that we have, was as high as we have played the last 2 games. So now the challenge is to try to be consistent. Although we know every game will not be 4-0 and every game will not look as good as the last 2, but we certainly have to aim for that, and if we underachieve, it'll be just by a little bit and not by much.
Do you have personal expectations for the season overall?
I mean, I think we want to, win the Supporter Shield for sure. It's not just about making playoffs. We know how important it is to get the home field advantage in the playoffs. But on the other side, that stuff is so far away. We have so many games in between, and so many bumps will come along the way, and so I think it's one game at a time, and I think that's what we did for the past 2 games, and now it's all eyes on Cincinnati.
Going back, it sounds like you guys as a team are flexible enough that you can play transition. But this interview you've talked about you guys can also play possession.
Yeah, I think that's something that we tried to do even last year a little bit. I think maybe we're having more success this year. And again, it's something you have to practice. The counter-attacking part is still there, and I feel like ever since I came personally to MLS, I feel like Sounders were the counter-attacking team. When you lost the ball against them, it was one pass, and Jordan or Christian were through on goal. So the counter-attacking part has always been there. I think it's good if we find a way to be a possession-based team as well. That gives more questions to the opposition and more solutions for us.
For you, is that free flow for you to be able to do both of those things? Kind of reason why you're like, hey, I think that team looks pretty good. Let me go over there.
No, I mean, that was a whole different reason. That was a whole different reason. But again, I think I fit a possession-based team as well. And it's something that I bring to this team, or I brought to this team last year. So as long as we keep improving at it, and don't forget about the counter attacks, which I don't think we have, because we have shown past 2 games that we can counter attack as well. As long as we improve a little by little, I think we'll be good.
And you beat you beat some of your mates last week. Did anything, any satisfaction? Have you moved
100%.
on?
What you think? Yeah. No, it felt good, especially after last season, losing both of those games and getting some stake. It felt really good. And it wasn't just about the win; it was about the performance. So.